Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I've got a video for you from Judge Wolf, and I will just let you guys watch this one.
We are ready for Whitworth versus Warmbier. All right. Ms. Roberts, you are the moving party, so you may proceed.
Biological father of the minor children, so we're seeking to establish a parenting plan. Child support has already been established through juvenile court, and so we're seeking to do it. We filed a parenting plan because Mr. Warmbier has left this area. He still has family members here, but he has moved out of state, and it's our proposal that he would have the availability of coming to Tennessee one weekend per month and having the children for the weekend. He would need to provide 30 days notice of his intent to come to Tennessee to exercise the residential time. We have divided the Christmas holiday with her getting the first half and him having the second longer half from December 27th until the day before the school term resumes. Summer, we propose that he gets 2 non-consecutive weeks, one in June and one in July. We're proposing meeting here at the Justice Center to exchange the children. And we're also asking, because there has been repeated issues and of alcohol, drug abuse, he has been to rehab, and we're asking that the provision be placed in that he expressly prohibited from consuming, ingesting, or exposing the children to any alcohol during any residential time. And that if, should he return to a rehab, that his time be suspended. And we had asked for a period of 6 months to ensure that he's working his plan. Again, child support is already set at $821. The testimony is going to show that he has failed and refused to pay child support, that he's behind in excess of $10,000 at this point in time. We're asking that she be designated as primary residential parent, that she make decisions for the children as she's been doing that, and that he be declared, again, there's no issue of him being declared as the father.
Mr. Warmbier, you have the right representing yourself to make any statements. Do you wish to make a statement?
Yes, sir.
You'll come to the podium. You're representing yourself. You'll be held to the same standards as a lawyer. So.
Your Honor, I haven't seen my children in a year.
You have not seen them in a year now?
That's correct, sir. They have been withheld from me for a year. I've made numerous attempts at contact. I've offered to send money for birthdays, for events. I've offered to come to Tennessee to pick them up. I've either been ignored by Ms. Whitworth or been told that we need to wait until paternity had been established, because it was not established. This happened, or this began April of last year. After paternity was established on our last visit to court, which was something around 4 months ago, I did contact Ms. Whitworth and ask if I may see the children now that paternity had been established. She said we are going to wait until the plan has been finalized. I am in arrearages of, I don't know the exact total. I would assume it's close to that $10,000 mark. It was wrong of me, but I tried to use child support as a means of leverage. I did tell Ms. Whitworth that that if she wanted the child support, she would need to let me see my children. I did hear a case you had presented earlier, and I have an obligation to pay child support whether or not she's allowing me to see the children, and that's my fault. I'll begin getting back on that schedule starting at the beginning of next month. My schedule currently sits, and I still believe it to be in the best interest of the children, where all holidays be split on even and odd number. I would get them even years, she would get them odd years, or vice versa, however the court would see fit. For vacation days, anytime the children are out of school for greater than a week, Ms. Whitworth and I be allowed to split that time. Anything that is a week-long vacation for the children, we would rotate even years and or odd years. Anything that was 2 weeks or greater, I would get them for 1 week, she would get them for the next week. As it pertains to summer breaks, I would get them for the month of June. The next year, I would get them for the month of July. Again, just rotating even and odd time schedule as far as the years go. I'm asking for joint decision-making for everything educational, everything emergency and non-emergency, as well as how they view religious upbringing and extracurricular activities, especially with the extracurricular activities. I can show good faith in if I have the children and they are engaging in cheerleading or any type of extracurricular activity, cheerleading, football, baseball, such as that it would be my responsibility to court them to and from. So for, I think Jake or Raiden is getting quite into football, and I think that would interrupt like a July visit, but I think that's something that, Ashley and I could come to an agreement on as far as, visitation throughout that month.
I'm going to give you a chance to testify, and what you're saying now is just in the form of an opening statement, so it gives me an idea of where you're going. All right, if you'll have a seat there, Ms.
Yes, sir.
Roberts is the moving party, so she'll be allowed to put on her proof first, then I'll hear from you.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, Mr. Wambier, if you'll come around, we're going to put you on as the first witness for Mrs. Whitworth. Raise your right hand, be placed under oath.
I do.
Mr. Walmer, you understand that you're now under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were giving your opening argument to the judge, you were not under oath.
Okay,
Okay, so you now understand that you've swore to tell the truth,
that's correct.
and you understand that the statements that you made before the court on your
Yes.
opening statement, will you affirm that all of those were true?
Yes, I would like to, so I don't commit perjury. December of last year, I was allowed to visit the children for 30 to 45 minutes. That was the only time that I saw the children. It was something that I did forget to mention in the opening statement, but that, other than that, all else remains true.
Okay, so you are admitting that you are significantly behind in child support.
Yes, ma'am.
You are admitting that you knew willfully, that you were willfully behind in child support, that you knew you owed that obligation,
Yes.
correct? And that you used the child support as a weapon, basically, against Mrs. Whitworth to try to get some type of agreement on visitation. Is that correct?
Weapon is a strong word.
Well, what word are you going to use?
I'm sticking with leverage.
Leverage, okay, but you're stating under oath that you're willfully withheld paying child support and you used it as a leverage against Ms. Whitworth,
I
correct?
did, yes.
And you understand that today I've served you with a petition for contempt of court for
Yes.
failing to pay child support.
Yes,
Did you have an opportunity to read that petition?
I was able to glance over that petition.
Okay. But again, you understand that your statements before the court, and we have a court reporter down here, that were true and correct. Is that correct? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I just wanted to verify that at this point in time, and then I'll recall him at a later date. I just
All
wanted
right,
to.
Mr. Wambier, if you'll step down, please. For the record, Ms. Roberts, I am correct that I am not dealing with a child support issue at all, correct?
Matter that has been filed in juvenile court and has not been transferred here. Matters,
Well, clearly, the question of payment of child support or lack of payment of child support and the reasons therefore are also factors that the court can and must consider in determining the appropriate parenting plan. So I will obviously be allowed to, or will be considering that when we get to that issue. Call your next witness, rather. Ms. Whitworth, if you'll come around, please.
State your name for the record, please, ma'am.
Ashley Nicole Whitworth.
Ms. Whitworth, where do you reside?
I live here in Charlotte.
And you have two minor children, is that correct, with Mr. Nathaniel Wambier?
Yes.
And what are their names and ages?
Raiden Warmbier, and he is 10. Renoa Warmbier, and she will be turning 5 in July.
Okay. Now, Raiden, is he in school?
Right now he's on summer break, but yes, he goes to Charlotte.
And what grade is he in?
He's going to 5th.
Fifth grade, and he attends at Charlotte Elementary?
Yes.
And how you pronounce your daughter's name, Raina?
Renoa.
Renoa.
Yes, ma'am.
Renoa is 5, and she has not been in school, is that
No,
correct?
Correct.
Will she start kindergarten in August?
In August.
And will she be going to Charlotte Elementary with
She
your
will.
son?
Yes,
Do you have any other children in your household?
I do.
And who are they?
Jacob Bryant, he is 13.
Okay, and he is your biological child, is
Yes.
that correct? And what grade is he in?
He's going to 9th. He'll go to Creekwood.
And he will be going here on the north side of Creekwood, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Now, you currently live with someone, is that correct?
correct.
And you're engaged and
Yes.
married. And what is that gentleman's name?
Joshua Barber.
And ma'am, what do you do for a living?
I work at the Dixon County Sheriff's Office in the jail.
Okay. And how long have you held that position?
8 years.
And what hours do you work?
I work 7 to 3, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. And your children are in school. Do they have any type of daycare, or who keeps them when you're at work and they're not in school?
Renoa goes to daycare. The boys stay home
And Renoa is still going to daycare
until
through
August.
the summer.
Yes.
And then will she go to before care and after care? Because
No.
you have to be there at
No.
7, but you can drop her off.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Will you need daycare in the summer?
No.
Who will keep her in the summer?
The boys.
Now, where you live here in Charlotte, is
I
that
do.
correct?
Yes.
Now, you and Mr. Wambier had a relationship together, is that correct? How many years were y'all together?
11. We were together from November of 2011 and split January 23.
Okay. And as a result of, during the time you together, did Mr. Wambier develop a significant alcohol problem?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
It progressed significantly once he signed over his rights to his oldest child. He started to drink a lot every single day. He did work here and there, but I asked him multiple times to go to rehab. He would never go. He just finally decided to go this last year, I guess,
Okay. Did he drink around the children?
every day,
And did he become intoxicated around the children?
every day.
Did his personality and the way that he interacted with them and you change when he consumed alcohol?
Yes. He was very argumentative when he liked to drink.
Okay. And where were y'all? Were y'all living in your home, or where were y'all living?
Mine.
In the home?
I would always rent a home and he would stay there. There was never anything in his name.
Okay. And he moved out when?
January of 23.
Okay, and shortly thereafter, do you know where he went?
I know he was working for Marquette Barge Company, so he went back to the boat whenever he came back from the boat that time. That last time after we split, I don't know where he went, aside from he told me he had a girlfriend. And then he was married and living in Illinois within 2 months. So I don't,
So he moved to Illinois.
yes,
Do you know where in Illinois?
Collinsville.
Collinsville. And how far distance is that between where y'all are living?
Approximately 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, I guess.
But y'all had never gone to court to establish paternity or to do anything?
No,
No, correct.
just child support court.
And after he left, you filed a petition to get child support.
I did.
Was he paying you something before?
He was paying about $600 a month. And then I asked him one time, did you pay child support, or are you going to send me child support? And he said that he wanted the tools that were in our closet. And I told him he wasn't getting those tools. And he asked me, do you want the tools or do you want the child support? And so at that point I took it to court.
Okay. And so even before there was a court order, he was using supporting the kids as some method against you, as his words, leverage.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so did he quit paying you?
Yes.
And you filed a petition with the state of Tennessee to seek child support? Is
Yes.
that correct? To your knowledge, y'all went to juvenile court and his child support was established based on your earnings and his earnings. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct? But there's no question that he is the biological father of these children. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Yeah.
Now, after he left, did he contact you, come back? And this is 2023, correct?
Yes.
Did he come back and visit the kids? Did he ask to visit the kids? Tell me what transpired.
So we were doing a visitation, so he would call and ask to see the kids. Because I know the kids need their dad and they would like to see their dad. I did let them go with him to Illinois to see his dad, to see their dad. When the issue arose was drop-offs. Hey, can you bring the kids at this time? Well, then that time come and gone, and he's making all the excuses in the world as to why he can't, or it's been changed, such as Easter is really my breaking point. Was we were together for 11 years. He was well aware of what we did on Easter, what we did on all holidays for that matter, but it was we do Easter at my mom's at 12 o'clock. He picked up the kids from my mom and went to Illinois, and when he had spoken to her, and he asked her what we were doing for Easter, and she said, it's the same as every year, my house, 12 o'clock. So he took that upon himself to change our drop-off time to 12 o'clock on Easter. And no, that wasn't it. It was Saturday, so the kids could wake up, and then it was
Well, where were y'all supposed to meet?
my mother's house. He was
Okay.
supposed to take the kids to my mother's house. No, I'm sorry. It was going to be Saturday. We moved it to Sunday at 11 because my aunt was there, or my aunt wasn't going to be there. So then it was, I guess, 11. He ended up showing up at 12:30.
And were there other occasions when you had, before we filed the petition in July of 2024, seeking to get a parenting plan established. Prior to that, were there other occasions that you tried to work with him and set specific dates and times for him to get the kids and to bring them back?
While we were dealing with the parenting plan?
Yeah, before
Yes,
we
ma'am.
before we filed.
Yes, ma'am.
He left in January of 2023, correct?
So I guess July, for 4th of July, we attempted to allow him to get the kids and wrote up a petition, and he refused to sign it.
Okay. But prior to that, were there occasions that when he left in 23 up and until July of 24, for about a year and a half, when there was nothing pending other than the child support matter, did he visit with the kids?
I don't remember.
Okay, were there occasions that he was supposed to pick them up and either not show up or refuse to
There
bring
was a
them back
time where
on
he was
time?
supposed to show up and didn't show up till 11 o'clock at night.
Okay. And so at that point in time, it prompted you to try to get a plan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so we filed this in July of 2024. And again, have you offered for him to come here and visit with the children and to visit?
He came at Christmas. I said that he could come down, or his wife technically asked if they could come, and I never responded to her. And then he asked, and I stated, yes, you can come over and give the kids their Christmas gifts, whatever. He stated that he was allotted at 30 to 45 minutes. He chose to stay 30 to 45 minutes. He was in and out.
But again, previous to that, had he taken the kids and then you thought they were coming back on a certain time and then he would change it?
Before or after we established the parenting plan?
No, before.
Yes, multiple times.
So again, were you concerned about him taking the kids to Illinois and then just not bringing them back?
Yes, ma'am.
And had he threatened that? Had he ever threatened to take them and not bring them back?
I don't believe so. I don't believe he's ever threatened it, but his demeanor and the way that he speaks to me about things
It was a
doesn't
concern for you.
or it gave me concern.
Okay. And again, you heard him testify. I put him on the witness stand. He was ordered to pay child support, given credit for what he had voluntarily paid, and he has failed to, and he's in excess of $10,000 in arrears of support.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, and during this period of time, has he talked about, have you received text messages and different things from him that are vulgar and inappropriate?
Yes.
I mean, has he sent you one particularly and repeatedly called you
Yes, ma'am.
and threatened to call your place of work, the sheriff's department, and have you arrested or have you fired?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Most recently, has he actually even stated in his emails, as it turns out, when I sobered up, I got to see exactly who the I was all those years.
Yes, ma'am.
But now that the alcohol is gone, I've got a degree of clarity of who I am and what I need.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you learned either through him that he actually did go to rehab?
I learned through his wife.
Okay, when was that?
Gosh, I couldn't tell you. It's maybe 2 years now.
Okay, and do you have a belief of whether or not he's maintained his sobriety?
He has not maintained his sobriety.
And how do you know that?
He had made a Facebook post speaking about me and my fiance, claiming that my fiance gives his children alcohol.
Does your number one, does your fiance have children?
He does.
And how old are those children?
19 and 18.
Okay. And Mr. Wombeer has said that that your fiance gives his children alcohol.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that true?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And what, go ahead, and did he make admissions that he had lost his sobriety?
He did. My fiance's ex-wife actually wrote him and said that she doesn't know what's going on, but can you please leave my children out of it? And he, in a response to her, stated that 10 months of sobriety was gone.
Okay. And is that a concern for you with your children?
Yes, ma'am.
And again, his drinking, major reason on why y'all separated and aren't together.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
correct? Your kids are in school. Do they do any extracurricular activities? Again, I know your 5-year-old is,
Yes.
there's not a lot limited that she does.
But Raiden does do football.
And where does he play ball?
Right now, he plays for the Charlotte Lions.
Okay, and that is a fall sport.
Yes.
And do they start practicing right after in July?
They practice in July, yes.
Okay. Has Mr. Wombeer tried to come down and visit or done anything? I mean, recently, did you get a call saying, hey, I'm 30 minutes out, I want to stop by, or
I did.
when was that?
2 weekends ago,
Okay.
I guess.
Tell me the context of what went on.
So he called me and said, hey, I'm about an hour and a half out. Do you mind if I stop and see the kids? Originally, I did speak that he could, but I was thinking of, the kids do want to see their dad. After thought, that's really not good for them either, him to pop in and leave so randomly. So I called him back and said it probably wasn't a good idea.
Okay. And again, this was after you discovered that he had
Relapsed.
had relapsed.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
correct?
Yes.
And are your conversations always volatile?
Yes,
And who makes them that way?
he does.
Have you tried to include him in the children's day-to-day lives? Do you,
Not anymore, I don't.
why?
Because he always makes it into a fight. He ends up calling me names, and I don't have to tolerate that anymore.
Okay. And again, texting you that, but now that the alcohol is gone, I've got a degree of clarity who I am and what I need. You've always been selfish, reckless, and inconsiderate to those around you, even your own kids, and to your own kids. I stayed a little too young to do anything about it, but times have changed.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen here, you stupid. You and Josh is your fiance, is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct?
Yes.
Both should be thanking whatever God you believe in that you still have jobs, that you still have custody of the kids. It's only my belief that the kids need their mama, that I haven't called the state on your ass, and that I haven't written a letter to your sheriff about harassment. Are those typically the conversations that y'all have?
Yes, ma'am.
This just keeps getting worse and worse with your. You'll keep trying my patience until I finally do take you for custody. Take care of those babies and use some sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. He has a flair of flowery language, doesn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you get tired of listening to that?
I sure do. I quit responding.
Okay. At this point, I'm sick of these stupid games you're both playing. You cannot replace me with some dip who just walks in and acts like a pretend daddy. You're a pathetic excuse for a mother, for a parent. I hope your arteries clog up.
And this was after rehab, mind you.
This is what?
After rehab, when he was supposedly sober.
Right. I refuse to pretend to be nice to you anymore. And he's not, is he?
No.
Does he have family in this area?
Not in Dixon, but his family lives in Stewart County.
Okay. You offered to let him come any weekend and visit with the kids?
Have I offered?
I mean, if he's asked, has he, if you would, just go and explain to the court how many times that he's called and asked to come visit since we filed this petition in July of 2020.
So he asked for 4th of July, that he refused to sign the order. His wife asked for March. I never spoke with him about it, and his random phone call, or Christmas, and then his last random phone call.
So 4 occasions, including when his wife,
Correct.
and he came one time.
Yes.
Has he ever offered to come down here and visit time with, and spend
No.
time with them?
No.
What was the plan for this last Christmas? Even though he said he hadn't seen the kids in a couple of years, that, and he recanted when he got on the witness stand and said he did see them.
So he called and said he was in town for Christmas, obviously with his family. This was actually in July, or January, not December. Said that they were all in town doing Christmas with his parents. His parents got it to get the kids stuff for Christmas. They got stuff for Christmas. Can we swing by and bring it? I was like, well, we're gonna be going to Jacob. I believe Jacob had something going on. Oh, his wrestling ceremony. I said, well, we've got a place to be, but you can swing by and.
Your oldest child had a
Yes.
school event.
Yes. I said, you're more than welcome to come by, bring the kids their gifts, hang out for a while till we gotta go. They showed up, stayed maybe 30 minutes and left.
Kids enjoy seeing him?
They did.
Do you want to establish a parenting plan to give him an opportunity to get reacquainted with these kids?
Yes.
You want him to make the effort to come and to visit?
Yes.
We have filed a parenting plan with this court stating that he can come down here any weekend upon 30 days' notice and have them for the weekend.
Yes, ma'am.
And he has a place to stay with family,
As far as I know, his mother or his grandparents.
and they live in Stewart County.
His grandparents live in Clarksville. His parents live in Dover. Yes.
Okay. And so you don't have a problem with him keeping them for a weekend?
No.
But during that time, if they have an extracurricular activity, if Raiden is playing football, if he comes down in the fall, you want him to be required to carry him?
Yes.
Correct? And you think that would be appropriate for him to start that residential time to get reacclimated and back with the kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Additionally, you've offered him 1 week in June and 1 week in July.
Correct.
Is that correct? And you're still willing to let him have that this summer?
Yes.
Here we are at the end of May, so he could have time with them for the summer. Are there activities that have already been planned for the,
Raiden and Renoa do have Vacation Bible School, June 10th through the 12th.
and then do you have a family vacation or anything planned?
Not this summer, no.
So again, him pick a week in June, and other than when they're going their vacation Bible school. And when does the football program start for Raiden?
The end of July.
The end of July?
Yes.
So anytime before the first couple of 3 weeks of July?
Yes, and Renoa's 5th birthday party is July 19th.
So you already have a party planned and paid for?
Yes.
So the 19th is not a week that he can have the
Correct.
children? Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you want to have you made the decisions about the kids? As far as going, who signed them up for school?
I did.
Has he, to your knowledge, has he reached out to the school and signed up for any type of Charlotte? Do they use Classroom Dojo or
They do use
Skyward?
Class Dojo and Skyward.
And Skyward. And those are both available to be signed up for,
Yes.
correct? And the instructions for that are on the website with the Dixie County Board of Education,
Correct.
To your knowledge, has he signed up for any of that information?
No, ma'am.
Who carries him to the doctor?
I do.
Are they covered under TennCare?
Yes, ma'am.
Has he offered to pay any insurance or anything from that standpoint?
No.
Money's always been a tool that he uses against you,
Yes.
correct? Who's provided for food and clothing and housing and all of their activities?
Josh and I.
Okay, and carried them to school, picked them up, paid lunch money, done the day-to-day drudgery of being a parent, not the fun stuff, but the work part of it. Who's done that?
I do.
Has he reached out and asked and said, how are the kids' grades doing? What are they involved in?
No.
And if you reach out to him, are these just some samples of how you're responded to?
Yes, ma'am.
And we have stacks and stacks that we could go through, but they're all consistent.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes,
You want to be able to make the decisions without being called a cunt, don't you?
absolutely.
Holidays, if he picks a weekend that's a Monday holiday and gives you sufficient notice, do you have a problem with his one weekend a month to be extended to a holiday?
No, I do not.
You're just asking for notice
Yes, ma'am.
and consistency.
Absolutely.
Are you concerned about his drinking?
I am.
Concerned about his temper?
I am.
Are you concerned that he's going to try to speak badly about you and try to use the kids as a pawn against you, like he's used money as a pawn against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Has he offered, is any concern whatsoever about whether the kids are being fed and clothed and have adequate
No, he's
nutrition
not.
and things like that?
No, he is not.
Other than calling you these nasty and ugly names repeatedly? You offered any assistance in helping rear these kids?
No.
Gripes about your fiance?
Yes.
But again, he married just a few weeks after y'all separated, correct?
Correct.
And did you know his wife?
I did not.
Have you met her other than,
Until they got married, no, ma'am.
and have you met her since then?
Yes.
Have any issues with her?
No, ma'am. Other than she will like to send nasty grams too. Every once in a while, she'll get in her feelings and send me a nasty gram, and I just don't say anything. And
This is between you and him. You're the parent.
correct.
And you think the parenting plan that we proposed is appropriate given the circumstances?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. Now, he's going to ask you some questions, okay?
Well, if you're representing yourself, this is not your chance to make statements. It's your chance to ask questions. If you want to, you're not required to. Do you want to ask her any questions? All right. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. Ms. Roberts, you may call your next witness. Good. Petitioner has rested their proof, so Mr. Wambier, do you wish to testify or offer any other proof?
I was taking those moments as a reflective period. A lot of what she read out, that was very true. I said some nasty, heinous things. I didn't do right. I'm willing to accept the proposal that they've given so that we can end
All right,
end
Ms.
this.
Roberts, it appears he's willing to accept your proposal. So if you will submit your proposal in written form, then we will go from there. Thank you, Mr. Wambier. If you will wait around, you'll just confirm that, just have a seat for a second.
I have his address and
All right.
and his email address. He's provided that to me previously. So I will just do an order adopting our parenting plan
fine.
and send that to
Yeah,
him.
make sure that that reflects that he announced in open court that after hearing the testimony, he would agree to it. Let me just talk to the two of you for just a second. Ms. Roberts has heard me talk about this for some time. I understand why you might have animosity towards her and you feel like you're being cut out of your children's lives. It is your obligation to pay child support, whether you get to see your children or not. It is her obligation to allow you to have a visitation with the children, whether you're paying or not. And what I would remind you both is that the interest that you need to be putting first is not your interest or his interest or your interest. It is the children's best interest. And so for that reason, you know, I understand in that fit of anger, hostility, things get said in text messages and otherwise. But in my opinion, there's no excuse for the fact that you would use that kind of language towards the mother of your children. You need to think about the fact that in today's society, things like that become permanent. You can think you can delete them, but you can't necessarily. And as a result, if you want your children to grow up knowing that that's how you talk about their mother, then you've done a pretty good job as a start. So you need to do that. And this order that I'm going to put down not only accepts Ms. Roberts' proposal, but it's also going to include my order that there will be no derogatory remarks made by you towards her, period. And I don't care if it's in a text message, telephone call, or whatever. We're going to cut that out. Same thing goes with anyone else. You know, your wife is not I don't know your wife, but your wife is not a part of this action. But I'm ordering that there be no derogatory remarks made. When you have this visitation, and you're going to have the children go with you as they've set out, that you're going to have a week in the summer and so forth, those things, when they happen, you know, you're going to have them away from their mother. There's a temptation to try to justify yourself and to talk badly about their mother. Don't do that. Don't do that to your children, for one thing. Your children need to love both of you. They don't need to hear one of you downgrade the other one or make derogatory remarks. So I'm putting in this order that there will be no derogatory remarks made to each other, and there'll be no derogatory remarks made to the children. That is the main thing. The other thing is obviously, I applaud you if you have gotten your sobriety, and I'm just going to say that when the children are with you, there'll be no alcohol in you or on you, as they say. You don't have alcohol in your home when the children are there exercising their visitation. And, pardon? No, I'm not going to exclude the fact that there will be no alcohol at all. You've got family around. You don't consume it. And you just don't need to let your children see you. And obviously, if there's an issue, it has a way of bubbling up and surfacing if there's another problem. I trust you that you say you've gotten sobriety, and I'm going to give you that opportunity to see the children. But I want the order to reflect that you're not to consume alcohol while the children are with you. Okay? All right. And that's pretty much, you know, what I wanted to say, with the exception of the fact that I understand as well from you, Ms. Whitworth, the natural animosity you have towards somebody that might talk to you like that, the natural animosity that you might have towards somebody who hasn't paid child support. He'll pay a price for that in juvenile court. But what I think your job is going to be is to try to make sure that you don't let your personal feelings about how he's talked to you or what his attitude has been prevent you from being able to encourage him to have a good relationship or encourage the children to have a good relationship with him. That's going to be your job from here on out, because if you believe your children need to have both parents, then this is your opportunity to encourage them to go see their father, spend time with him, and make it something that they look forward to rather than the fact that they don't. So both of you try to put your children's best interests first, and hopefully you can work through this without any further problems. But we're not going to have any more of this language that's being used. And there really shouldn't be any anger or animosity. Try to reason with each other without, you know, being angry, and I think you'll find that it goes a lot further. If you will extend the olive branch to each other, then I think you can do that. You also need to get involved with your children's school by getting, if there's a parent portal that you can get into to be aware of what's going on with your kids, then do that. And then, if you want to see your kids and he wants to show up down here, I understand you say, well, it might not be convenient. One of the things that bothered me about your testimony, and I'll tell you, he said, I'm an hour and a half away, and he wanted to come by and see the kids, and you decided that that was not the best thing for your kids. Let him come by. There's no reason in the world, an hour and a half away, and he comes by for 30 or 40 minutes, they get to see their father. By denying that, you are preventing them from having an opportunity to interact with their father. And then you complain because he's not been around. So what I want you to understand is, if he has an opportunity to come by, let him come by, let him see the children. We used to have, one of our judges used to tell the mothers in cases, I didn't necessarily agree with it, let him see the children as often as he wants to, and he'll get tired of it soon. Was that judge's attitude. I don't think that's true, but it was good advice to let him see them. If he's in the area and he calls you up and says, hey, I'm gonna be around because I've got a job or I've got something else, let him see the kids. Don't deny him that opportunity. Denying him the opportunity does one thing. It prevents him from being able to see the children, but it does another thing. It reflects badly upon you as a parent, because you're not protecting your children like you think you are. You are hurting him, and I understand why you might have felt that way. But from here on out, we're going to let him see the kids whenever he's able to be around. Now, by the same token, you can't just, call up every other day and say, hey, I'm in the area, I want to come by and see. It has to be reasonable. So both of you use common sense and be reasonable with each other. I think you both love your children. You just have to get past this animosity that's developed, and hopefully you can co-parent your children. Ms. Roberts will draw the order.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
If I could have a minute before we start the next one, if I could be excused to the ladies' room.
You may.
before we start the next.
Okay, well, I'm really glad the judge talked with them, because it seemed like they were under the assumption that Dad didn't have to pay if she refused to let him see the little ones. So, and Mom seems to think that if he has a bad attitude, she doesn't have to let him see him. Well, she does. And both of those things could put you in jail. Dad could go to jail because he's not paying, and Mom could go to jail if she's withholding. So that's when you have to just do your best and do what you're supposed to do. She is supposed to allow him to see the kids. He is supposed to pay his support. Now, it doesn't matter what the other one is actually doing. You still have to do your part, and that's your part. So, granted, they both need to learn how to speak with each other better. She says it's all on him. He's the one that starts it all. I don't see that. I don't think that's likely. Let me put it that way. I believe that it takes two in an argument. One person can de-escalate, and if they do, it usually de-escalates. But if one person comes right back with the same language or tries to instigate that, well, then that's what you're gonna get. So I think they're both playing each other. She's saying it's him, he's saying it's her. I don't know. They're both doing it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you another time.